In a high-stakes moment for U.S. national security and digital infrastructure, the House Homeland Security Committee has launched a critical inquiry into what it calls federal cybersecurity failures. In the wake of a new cyber threat snapshot, a report that warns of escalating state-backed intrusions and a dangerous lapse in information-sharing authorities, signaling a political and operational reckoning for how the U.S. protects its networks. The committee, chaired by Representative Andrew R. Garbarino, RNY, argues that amid the ongoing federal government shutdown and the lapse of the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act (CISA) of 2015, America's cyber defense capabilities are being severely undermined, reducing visibility into malicious activity by adversaries like China, Iran, Russia, and North Korea, and potentially creating blind spots in both public and private sector networks at a moment when threat actors are growing more aggressive. According to the committee's report, attempted and successful cyber intrusions have surged. Chinese-linked hackers, for example, increased their espionage efforts by 150% in 2024. Compared to the prior year, targeting critical infrastructure sectors such as telecommunications, media, and industrial systems. In some cases, gaining persistent access to networks that could be leveraged for future disruption. The snapshot also claims that 3 PRC-linked threat actors compromised more than 400 organizations through Microsoft SharePoint in 2025, including key agencies like the Department of Energy, DHS, and HHS, raising alarms about systemic vulnerabilities in how federal systems and high-risk infrastructure are defended. Against this backdrop, the committee is pushing forward several legislative measures, including Representative Andy Ogle's Strengthening Cyber Resilience Against State-Sponsored Threats Act, which aims to enhance interagency coordination, and the Pillar Act, which would bolster and extend the state and local cybersecurity grant program, as well as Chairman Garbarino's own WIMWIG Act, seeking to renew and expand voluntary but structured information sharing among government and private cyber defenders. Critics, however, argue that while these reforms are politically appealing, they risk overextending already fragile resources or failing to address deeper structural flaws. Some lawmakers and analysts warn that without a permanent reauthorization of CISA, which currently provides legal protections for firms sharing threat intelligence, the United States remains dangerously exposed, particularly as the committee's report notes that foreign actors are expanding their targeting and maintaining long-term persistence in U.S. corporate and government systems. Furthermore, experts who testified before the committee in earlier hearings, including cyber specialists from CrowdStrike and SentinelOne, emphasized that America's cyber workforce remains under-resourced and fragmented. They called for a substantial expansion of federal hiring, including new scholarship and training programs at community colleges to build a next-generation defense capacity capable of meeting the scale and sophistication of modern cyber threats. An underlying tension in the inquiry also involves accountability. The committee is not merely seeking new laws, it is scrutinizing past failures, including Microsoft's role in previous security lapses, as revealed in earlier hearings, and asking tough questions about why legacy systems and outdated infrastructure continue to be exploited by threat actors. As the inquiry deepens, the political stakes are growing. House leaders must not only navigate bipartisan pressure to pass meaningful cyber legislation, but also justify to the public why critical information sharing authorities expired, why systemic reforms weren't already in place, and how they intend to fund and staff a more resilient cyber posture for the long term. Beyond partisanship, this inquiry reflects broader anxieties about America's digital sovereignty. As hacking campaigns fueled by foreign powers raise the prospect of not just data theft or disruption, but a long-term undermining of U.S. influence. The outcome could shape the future of how government and industry collaborate, how powers are shared, how intelligence is exchanged, and how the United States defends its cyber terrain in an era where cloud platforms, AI-driven attacks, and sophisticated espionage are the norm. In the end, the committee's inquiry is as much a test of legislative resolve as it is a reckoning for America. A cyber defense strategy, a once technical policy issue, is now squarely a matter of national security and public trust. This has been Global Glimpse, where we break down the legal and institutional battles that define U.S. governance. Stay tuned for further updates on this critical cybersecurity inquiry.